Right, jumping straight in then to where we left off. Who wants to do the recap, actually? Anyone feeling very recap-y?
I can't for the life of me remember what happened, so I'm opening my notes
God.
and stuff like that because...
Like that.
Nobody? Okay, right. So, last time we left off, we'd been in a bit of an interim period. You guys had been... I spent the majority of their time hanging out at home. I believe shnaided Ned was cleaning out his house and having sort of a day spent whilst he adjusted with Todd by basically breaking everything in the whole of the house together with him and moving in all of his new belongings. At the same time, Nahia was spending some time with her fiance and just letting themselves be a happy couple. Whilst Dante, what were you doing? Because you were doing...
What was I doing? The reason I didn't want to do a recap because I did things separately that
You did do
they
something
are not
separately.
privy to. What was I doing in the meantime is in a common episode, Dante and Elizabeth had a pretty long conversation at the cafe, and then he found faith. He found something new. He devoted most of his Saturday to teaching his students online. And then on Monday, after having given the lecture, he was standing there smoking on the windowsill when Maddie was hesitating. Yeah.
Maddie came in, saw him, and moved on. Didn't seem to know who he was.
Dante told her to close the door from either side. And she chose to not close and just bugger off.
Okay. At the same time, we had a rather interesting conversation between Elizabeth and... Rather one-sided conversation between Elizabeth and Tristan. Who she invited inside, gave some tea, and then sort of was a little bit too kind to him, and it kind of broke him as he rushed out of her.
It wasn't really a conversation, it was more of a touching hands, you know?
Yeah. Deeply connected and emotional. And he ran from the room, smashing a section of her wall as he did, and sprinted outside again. And you have noticed, I'm going to say, in the days since then, he's been much harder to spot when he's been keeping security, and he's been further away from the house. Ned, after destroying much of his house and having a chat with Nahia and finding out that his manager Todd is a huge fan of Kingston and getting him an autograph, Ned found that there was a secret room hidden into his in the inside of his house, full of documents and various little bits and pieces that he went through. He then spent his night with a rather questionable decision of watching all of Pookie's videos, which became more questionable as Pookie slowly, as the longer he watched them, the videos grew more and more disturbing. This children's TV show in which a giant, fluffy, four-eyed, almost teddy bear type thing went about his town and helped people, slowly became into a gruesome, disgusting mix of blood, violence, and terrifying implications. You watched the entirety of the Pookie series, and as you finished it, you got a call from a man who wanted to get you into a fight that was going on between... can you tell me more? Because I want to make sure I'm not revealing more than I said here. What were the details of the fight that were told?
Well, I was told it was happening in 3 or 4 days. I was told it was run by the Ishvara character.
Ishvara James, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know who the fighters are. I don't know if anyone there, actually. But I told the group about it in an attempt to break this awkward silence. the WhatsApp. Yo, I'm going to fight in 3 to 4 days. Or I told them the day before, or the day before the day before.
It was Arabast, and he was a guy you had talked to earlier, and he was basically telling you that this idea you have of creating a sort of a area for mistlings to strut their stuff, so to speak, has already been done, and it's functioning right now. And he was extending an invitation to you.
Yes, I wanted to go to the thing, and I put an open invitation to the group.
Okay. As that's happened, so it's the end of that day, coming on to now, the beginning of. Gotta get my calendar up. Should be on Tuesday. No, we should be on Monday or Tuesday. Let me just try and find my calendar as I'm doing this. As I'm finding the date, what is everyone doing?
Okay. First thing I want to ask you is can I easily Google the location of the offices of Will Elledge?
Of Will Elledge?
Yeah.
You can Google them. Give me an investigation check.
Okay. So it's not that simple. I have to actually. So it was a public business. All right. Doesn't miss a detail. If a simple Googling won't provide Dante with answers, he will go to his laptop in his office, open and access a police database, because he is clearly defending a criminal suspect, so they must have something on him or on his business. So police database access. I'm gonna also look at other people he defends. I'm going to look at it from another angle to see who else he defends, what else I can find about the man.
Gotcha. Okay. I will say that the Google will come back with some stuff, but this is investigate to find out a bit more. The Google just comes back with that he's a defender, small time.
The address of his firm?
The address of his firm? Yeah, you can find the address of his firm. The address of his firm is in. Let me get it here. It's down in Candle Street.
Okay. So, I also want to look at what kind of cases he usually takes on, and whether the case that I know he has is unusual for him. So I want to look at recurring patterns in his career as a lawyer.
That is going to take your investigation.
Okay. Boom.
Oh, that's an 8. Oh, that golden touch is fading somewhat, Dante. I am gonna say right. Okay, yeah. Ask your 4 questions.
Ask my 4 questions. Is the case I know he's taken in any way unusual for him?
It's a little unusual. The one thing you can tell from this case and from other such stuff, this case should be like national news. This case should be plastered fucking everywhere. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
This guy, Tom Elledge, is a bit too small to be handling a case of this size.
So what's his like? Are you telling me that Dante finds most of his cases are like
Most of his cases are quite endearing, actually. You look at most of his cases, they're kind of like him standing up for the little guy sort of thing, of like standing up for murder cases where the majority of the state is against him, and he's just sort of is defending them still. He seems to be quite a moral guy, from what you can tell. He's quite choosy with his cases that he's defending.
Okay. Second question is, Uh, since I am looking at his case in the police database, what's the summary of evidence that the police have on the
On the case?
on the accused? Yeah, like, can I just get a summary? And
I'm gonna say you're gonna get a summary, but this. Okay, right.
it's incomplete.
Incomplete. You get very little bits and pieces. You get the charge of murder is being put against him, obviously. Beyond that, the case is very
Okay.
hidden.
The next two clues I want to bank. I'm probably going to use them this session.
Okay.
I want to bank the clues. I'm going to open the group text, the group chat, the WhatsApp group. After some consideration, Dante's just going to write, I don't think I trust this shit anymore, and leave the group. And then
fuck.
leave the WhatsApp group, yes. And then he calls Nahia.
Nahia, what are you doing at this time in the morning on a Tuesday that your phone rings?
I mean, how early? Early. What was the time frame we were talking?
Dante? You're on mute.
It would have been right after his lecture, so 1 o'clock-ish.
All right.
Okay. She might be at practice. She might be at full team practice.
I'm gonna say yeah. So 1 o'clock in you're gonna be sort of heading out to get. I'm gonna say you're gonna be like kitting up with the rest of the girls, are all sort of like putting on your rugby kit and about to head on. Pretty miserable day as well. This is the one part of Scotland that you're not used to. You're used to playing in sunny fields. You know, they even have to water the rugby pitches that you play on. Most of the time they play in the rain here. And as you're getting your kit on, your phone in your kit bag goes off.
She pulls it out. I'm assuming she'd recognize his number.
Yeah.
So she'd answer, and given her experiences with the group, she answers, and there's no hello. She goes, "Is everything okay?"
That's an odd question. How do you fancy a trip to Candle Street?
What's on Candle Street? What?
No, on the phone. I'll explain when we're there.
I can probably get out of this.
Okay. Dante shoots an address near to Elijah's office, not like directly, but someplace. Like he'll find a cafe on Google Maps or something, you know, anywhere near, and he'll just tell Nahia, yeah, I'll text you the address. I'll be there within the next hour. If you're not there, I'll just proceed on my own.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
All right.
As you sort of put down the phone, your coach comes in, sort of a thick, armed, thick, sort of chested Scottish woman with all the sort of subtlety of a reversing tractor over a car. She sort of comes and goes, "Hey girls, come on, get a move on, out you go. Nahia, what are you doing?"
Nahia goes, something just came up.
What do you mean something just came up?
A family emergency.
Aye, a family emergency is more important than you playing the game.
I think sadly today it is.
You know what happened to me when my husband... You know what I did when my husband died?
What did you do?
Same day he dropped dead, right as his dinner table, he was eating a steak, said, "Oh, that was a great feed." His head hit the table and I was out playing rugby that evening. Now you tell me now, Nahia, which is more important to you? The game or family? You see one of her eyes is twitching angrily.
Uh-oh. She goes, "I'll make up for it. Tomorrow you'll get me all day."
Right, fuck off with you. Don't need you anyway. This team will be better without you for the meantime. Come on, girls, you move your asses! And she gets them up onto the pitch as you were allowed to leave. Okay.
Perfect.
At the same time as you're leaving, Ned, you wake up after a rather sleepless night. Your dreams overloaded with various images of puppets ripping each other to pieces and the other despicable things you saw on Pookie's show.
Yikes. What time of the day is it?
It's early morning now.
Alright. To the message. Oh, yeah. I check to see if anyone responds, and I see that Dante has left the group. Would I see that? Because he blocked my number, I'm pretty sure.
You're on the WhatsApp group. He's blocked your number, but you would see that he's left the WhatsApp group. You're on the same group, so yeah, you'd see him leaving.
Wonder why he did that. Guess I don't really have anything to do today.
Okay, so you're just gonna like chill for the morning?
For the morning, I would like to just chill. Maybe
Okay.
get in the shower before Todd, so it doesn't take like 5 hours.
You do manage to get in seconds before him, which is a good thing, because otherwise you'd be waiting for a while. As you sort of spend the rest of your morning relaxing and chilling through it, we're gonna jump across to Maddie. Maddie, what did you do with your morning?
Honestly, not very much. Maddie's taking the morning off, just chilling in a room, probably watching some TV. But yeah, not really much interesting. Though she does eventually. Oh, I have one question that I was wondering about. Last time, Maddie tried to break in. She got 2 spirits slashed.
They've
Is
faded
that
by now.
still something
Yeah,
to
that's
do?
faded by
Oh,
now.
it's
That's
faded.
definitely
Okay.
faded by now.
Lovely, lovely. In that case, she's just going to send a message to Thomas saying, "Pub tonight."
You leave it for a bit and you get a voice message from him, just coming through that just goes, "Yeah, we can do that. Whereabouts you want to go? Sorry, just walking on a moment. New client is hard to please."
I send him a message back, naming just a pub nearby. I wouldn't really know of any name right now. And I ask him, tell me all about it tonight.
Okay. You send him the local bar that's sort of like one of these ones that's on purposely got a very bizarre name to try and get customers. It's called the Shire Horse's Disappointment. And it's the picture is just like an empty food trough with a Shire horse looking over it. And it's a good pub. It's a nice sort of pub. It's very trying to lean into the Scottishness of it all. And you message that to him. Elizabeth, what are you doing with your morning?
I guess waking up, possibly if Allison is there, is still at home, spent the morning eating breakfast with her, but then, what do you guess? I get paid to give lectures, and I still like to do that, so I'll actually try to do that today.
You gonna head into work?
Yeah.
Okay. You head into work. You have you do see Alison is up. She's same again, made breakfast. She doesn't mention the giant hole in your wall. She mentioned it a little bit the night before, but you get the feeling she's kind of like, if something happened that was that big, I'm gonna kind of respect your. I'll leave you. You'll tell me when you tell me.
Elizabeth promises to fix it.
She doesn't seem to mind too much, but you do see when you sort of mention like the stiffening of the shoulders, like, I want to ask, but no, it's your business. I'll leave it to you. And she lets you head off. Your lectures pass by relatively easy. Your students back in class after their short-term break seem pretty much renewed. The one girl who you saw caught painting on her own in the pub is much of the same. She doesn't seem to have sort of renewed or anything. She's just same as she always was. The rest of them, however, do seem like they've had a little burst of creativity in that time, and you see that coming out in their work. As it reaches sort of midday, coming to the end of that day, Dante and Nahia, we'll do you after. We'll jump straight back to Maddie first. So Maddie, you end up at the Disappointed Shire Horse, this very impressive, sort of very in the vein of the Scottish style pub. There's a couple of tourists huddled in one corner who are very sort of touristy. And as you were sitting in the corner, Thomas Dale walks in. He's wearing sort of a long sleeve shirt rolled up at the sides, hulking muscle, and you do see that despite the fact that there are normal people in here, he has a two-handed claymore sword that is just dangling by his side. A couple of people look up, and you see them squint as if they can almost see it. Then they sort of like shake their heads, and they sort of convince themselves they can't see it. He walks over to you, slumps into the chair beside you, and slams the claymore on the sort of like the side piece of the table, and goes, "All right."
Yeah. All right.
How's it going, Wildthorn?
Oh, well, let's just say that my current job isn't going as easy as I was hoping.
Oh, that's terrible. 2 points, please. Mine's going swimmingly.
Oh. Are you free to tell me about it?
Not really. You know how she is. But I can tell you, it's fun.
Really?
Yeah. Step into that upper world and be surprised the kind of thing they get up to. They're nasty wee shits.
Really now? Like what?
Well, met a guy they were struggling with a couple of days ago. Went in. Had to break his kneecaps. And usually you're constrained by, evidence, all that. None of that was a problem here. All covered. Really let you, let loose. But it's not quite as fun as I thought it would be. Not had a chance to really push myself yet. What about you? What's wrong with this job?
It's honestly, when you're here, just get a simple thing out of a simple vault or something, or just steal something from a university. What you're expecting is
University? That'd be easy, I thought. Shit you've dealt with?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Until the statues started walking around and attacking.
Statues?
There's some stuff going down.
Oh, that's interesting.
Down there. That's not really normal. If you know what I mean.
Sounds fun. You rip them into pieces, or did you run away? He said as a grin.
Well, the fact that I'm still here suggests the latter.
I'd love to
We're
help.
not-
I really would. I'd love to help, but calendar's a wee bit booked up at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that I'm representing someone of taste, well, gotta be careful what I get my face shown into, don't I?
I was afraid you would say that. Yeah. Well,
You coming then?
I would like to.
I mean, you're good at getting into places.
That I am. Do you happen to have any ideas of possible places of entry? Any? Oh, what did it do? Is it
I mean-
a knock? Is it a ticket?
Well, I'm not too sure. Never been down there, but you want to get into a place, penance is always a good way to go.
Okay.
You do know penance, don't you?
No, I was pretending to.
I
know.
guessed as much. Head down. Any of the parks, really. Look for symbol in a tree. It's usually, it's hard to explain, but there'll be a marking where people leave offerings. Give yourself an offering there, but don't give all of it. Keep enough of it that you can give the rest to him. Give it to him. He might be able to get you in. Might not.
You talking money or something weird?
Money is probably preferable, but he tends to like things more than money.
Alright. Let's see what I can do with that.
Listen, I gotta run. I'm up to my arse in requests these days. It's hard being a celebrity, you know? Being this popular.
It's well, you better than me. It's still, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you'll get to this level. Don't you worry.
Oh. We'll have to see. My luck's not been very good on me.
You'll be fine. Stay wild, yeah? He gets
Right.
up, grabs his claymore and moves out the bar.
Has he even finished his drink?
He's done about half of it.
Oh, great. That's more for me.
Okay. We leave you there as Nahia and Dante are heading down towards Candle Street. What are you guys doing? How are you getting down there, and what are you talking about on the way?
I would get there first and wait for her, right? Because we're not getting there together.
Okay, you're not getting there
I'd be
together. You're
address.
going to get there one at a time. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be at the place that I sent her the address of.
Gotcha.
When she approaches, I'm probably just standing there smoking a cigarette.
Okay, Nahia, you see, I imagine you're driving.
Yeah.
You drive up and you do see that Dante is on the street, cigarette to his lips, smoking away.
She goes up to him and goes, "So, are you going to explain now? Or do I have to wait more?"
Dante throws the cigarette in the nearest bin, exhales smoke, and says, "Yeah. Sorry, I've been a bit jammy on the details on the phone. I just don't want to say too much."
She nods.
That
She
building
goes,
there has the offices of one Will Elledge, the solicitor of Daniel Harbourman. I assumed that we would want to secure a meeting with Harbourman with me and talk to him together. Was I right?
"You are right."
Well, let's go convince his solicitor to let us talk to him.
I think that's going to be difficult.
It's all right. We'll figure it out. We have to.
She nods.
How close are you to Harbourman, if you don't mind my asking?
Fiance's teammate. Some would think it's distant, but he was still a good friend of mine.
Your fiance plays rugby as well.
He does.
Yeah. This man, Elledge, I don't know much about him. But we have to convince him that you have an in. Whoever I present myself as, just run with it, okay?
Got it.
All right then. As we approach the office building, what is there?
Okay, you get closer to the office building. The area you're in is a relatively nice-ish sort of businessy area. As you get closer to the offices of Will Elledge, you can see already the E is missing from Elledge. Just Edge with the missing E on it. The building is otherwise relatively well maintained. There's sort of glass windows in front of it. One of the glass panes has got a little bit of a cracking on it where someone's tried to throw something at it, but they were so drunk they couldn't finish the job properly.
Trying to make me like him.
The door is half open at this point, and you can see there's sort of a rather sweaty woman at the front of the desk hammering away as the secretary. She's dressed in clothes that are smart but worn, like sort of with like they're definitely seen worse days, and that's the sort of feeling of the whole of this business. It's seen worse days. You get in, and at once the secretary, she's tapping away frantically at the computer, her fingers moving as a blur, and as you step in, she looks up and you can see this sort of red hair plastered back, pulled back into a bun. She's slightly larger, like sort of almost a beefy look to her, like a muscular look, and she looks at it, she goes, "1 second, please, 1 second," and she just keeps typing frantically.
Yeah, I don't interrupt.
She finishes, taps enter, and she goes, and you can see the machine she's working on is outdated by a good couple of years. It's surprising it's still functioning. As she sends it away, she goes, "Right, how can I help you?"
We would like to speak to Mr. Elledge about one of his cases.
Oh, not clients then?
Afraid not.
Mr. Elledge is out at the moment. He should be back any minute now. Would you like to take a seat? Can I get you water?
No, thank you, but we'll take the seat.
You take a seat and you see that there is a coffee machine, but it is broken. You take a seat. Are you just going to wait, or are you talking while you wait?
Are we within earshot of her?
Yeah. It's the office is very small. It's sort of.
Then I'm not gonna ask Nahia anything just yet. 'Cause I don't want to, I don't want people overhearing.
And exactly, I'd like to think Nahia's smart enough that she's not.
Yeah, Dante just takes out a cigarette and twirls it in his fingers. He doesn't want to smoke here. He doesn't want to assume that, maybe people don't want to smoke inside. I think it's against the law in UK anyway, right?
It's illegal to smoke inside, yeah.
Yeah,
Smoke
so he
inside.
just twirls a cigarette in his fingers.
Okay. After a couple of minutes, a man bursts into the room and bursts. He's just throbbing with energy. There's nowhere else for it to go. He seems to sort of bounce on the spot. He's a slightly larger man, a bit of a double chin going on, with long blonde hair that sort of almost reaches down to his collar, but he's wearing a nice-ish suit that's got same as before, a little bit of wear and tear to it. And he goes, "Alice, I've fucking done it. I figured it out." And he starts talking to her, and as he's rapidly talking to her, he goes, "Oh, sorry, guests, sorry, nice to meet you, Will Elledge." And he comes up and moves to shake your hands.
Yeah, Dante will shake his hand and just says, Walter Jackson.
Walter Jackson, wonderful to meet you, and?
Give me 2 seconds. She doesn't say that. Yeah, that's you saying that.
Nakamalia, right now. You don't have time to think in
I know I
character
don't.
either.
He's as you're
one.
pausing there for a second, his hand just extended in the air. He just goes,
She just shakes his hand and goes,
quite a
She's
grip.
with me.
That's quite a
Melissa,
grip.
it's wonderful.
Melissa, wonderful to
correct.
meet you, Melissa. You two clients looking for some
We're here
kind
about
of...
to talk about one of your cases, actually.
Immediately his demeanor changes and he sort of shifts back into uncertainty and he goes, which one of my cases?
Dante takes a look at Alice for a second, takes a look back at him, and says, Harbourman.
You're not...
I'm
That
not
case
really
is
opposition.
entirely on... is being managed at the moment. If you are press and you are looking for any information, I'm afraid we cannot provide it at the moment. I would like you to leave, please.
We're none of those things.
Then what are you? Competition?
No.
You're afraid of me? Well, that's a compliment. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Dante looks him dead in the eye and just says, I'm the guy who knows he didn't do it.
Alice? She goes, yes. He goes, is conference room 1 free? Yeah, of course it's free. Come with me. And he moves you guys into a back room with a dingy, sort of dust-smelling office, and a table. He bids you sit and he goes, did Alice offer you some water? We've got some water, if you'd like that.
Alright.
Sit.
Dante looks at the table. Is there any recording equipment or anything of the sort?
There is a recording, a sort of a rather old recording device set up on the table. It's not on currently.
It's not on, but is it plugged in?
It is plugged into the table, yeah.
Then Dante will just lean in and take the plug out of the socket.
Are you doing this subtly, or are you doing this in front of him?
No, in front of him demonstratively, so he sees it.
He sees it, and you can see he's already sort of like gathering some papers, and as he sees you doing that, he sort of looks, nods and moves over and goes, so I guess this is off the record then. That's frustrating.
Mm-hmm. We won't be giving depositions, we won't be appearing in court, but we might
Alright.
change the course of the case for you anyway.
I'll take what I can get. What do you have to offer?
I need to speak to Mr. Harbourman. It's urgent.
Not possible.
I know. Why is it?
I don't know.
Doesn't want to speak to anyone?
No, I've been filing report after report, been trying to get through to him, trying to see him. All I've been told is that he's refusing to see anyone, including his lawyer. Which makes no sense to me, because how on earth did he manage to
Okay.
hire me?
I'm gonna ask for a very simple clue. I'm gonna use one of my clues.
Mm-hmm.
Is Will Elledge good at what he does?
You can sort of sense there's a professionalism to him and a, you're not sure. He definitely seems like he's competent enough. You're not sure if he's very good at what he does. He's competent to a degree. He definitely has more good intentions than he has skill.
Yeah. What's your sense, Mr. Elledge? I mean,
My sense...
you're a professional. Is he being barred from speaking to you, or is he refusing of his own volition? Have you
I think
spoken
he's
to
being
him to
barred,
begin with?
but I can't prove it. And they have all the referencing to show it, and I'm not getting heard, which is adding to the case a little bit, but frankly, it's becoming a little bit disturbing at the moment.
Do you think that there's a possibility Mr. Harbourman is in a bad condition? Do you think he's been interfered with?
He looks at you and he goes, "Who are you people? I thought you were coming here giving me information."
We are. But it's going to be hard to absorb.
I'm all ears.
Harbourman was, this will sound harebrained, induced to do it.
With drugs?
No.
With threats, blackmail?
No. You can't prove this in court, if that's what you're wondering. Therein lies your dilemma. You need witnesses or someone who will testify otherwise, but anyone in that club who was there at the time saw him beat and strangle her to death. But I know that he's been induced to do it because I found the person who did it.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? So, let me get this straight. You're coming into my office and telling me that Daniel did commit the murder, but he was induced into doing it, but not by drugs, not by blackmail, not by any sort of forced coercion or any sort of thing like that. He just did it, and you can tell me who coerced him into it? Even then, Daniel's still facing rather hefties.
You are wrong on one detail, though. He did not commit the murder. If I take a gun and shoot somebody, the gun didn't commit the murder, I did. Daniel was the gun.
Not in the eyes of the law.
I know. We do need to speak with him. There's a reason either he or Amy were targeted. One or both of them. I don't know what reason it is yet.
I want to believe
I
you.
to find out.
I really do. I've been studying Mr. Harden. I've been leading into his files. There's nothing to suggest any sort of psychiatric problems. Nothing to indicate any hidden violent nature.
Okay.
This murder...
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Murder is entirely out of the blue. And it does not fit with any of his character.
Last clue I want to use. I think you told me that Haberman's family is paying Elledge, right? So I can't use my last clue on that. Okay, last clue I'll just use is there any social media or articles on the internet that Dante found that suggest the personality of Elledge outside of what I immediately witnessed today?
Yeah, I'm gonna allow that last clue. Yeah, you do see there's a number of it, and most of it's sort of bleeding heart Elledge pledged himself to another doomed cause again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's come to the point where it's almost been detrimental to his reputation, and the community has kind of turned against him a little bit. Like, he's represented a lot of lost causes, and been shat on for it.
Okay, then...
The one thing you will see in every single press or media or everything, every picture of him, he's smiling.
Okay.
He doesn't seem bothered by people's perception of him whatsoever.
Oh, I like this guy. Damn you. Dante will just say, "You want to believe me?"
I do.
But you know that this case is not a simple one because why is Anton Lynch's lackey taking an interest in a murder in a jazz club between a rugby player and his girlfriend?
I knew you were something else. How the hell do you know that Anton Lynch is involved?
I don't. I knew his lackey was involved, but you just told me that he is.
That bastard. I'm onto him. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to get this all. And if you must have something more than this. You must have something more to say than that.
Look. Dante then looks at and says, the horrible thing about this is I still don't know who commissioned it. Maybe it was Lynch. Maybe it wasn't. I found the person who carried it out through Daniel. They are I'm afraid they can't testify either.
You're giving me nothing. You've got to give me something here, please.
There is something in the past of Daniel and Amy that is important. We need to talk to Daniel.
I can't. I've tried. I've been completely walled out. I haven't had a word with him. Haven't been able to construct a defense at all. It's blatantly illegal. And yet, then continuing to cut him. It's pretty much the basis of my entire case.
You're aiming for a mistrial.
That's my plan. But
So if we do manage to get the meeting,
to be honest,
that will somewhat militate towards your defense.
to be honest, the one thing that's concerning me the most is the lack of concern that has been shown towards the fact that everything I've been met with is completely illegal. There's been no consideration for that at all. It's almost like they know they're going to win no matter what they do. But if I can get something to drag Lynch into this, tar his name even a little, the stuff I have, I can... It'll be a slight victory, if anything.
The murder was commissioned. I have that much straight from the mouth of the person who did it.
Right, we'll get him to testify.
You can't.
Oh, you're giving me nothing here.
I can't turn back forces of nature.
He's dead.
Dante doesn't really say anything, just shrugs.
Fuck. All I can do is maybe lodge one more request. Try and get it in, get you a chance to see him, but I haven't been allowed to see him at all.
I do know how they induced him, and I know someone who could testify to induce him, but
Well, that's
that
something.
is a long shot.
Get me that, bring me that, and then we can talk.
Fuck. You have no idea how tall of an order that is.
My friend, I'm fighting a bloody losing battle here.
Can I ask you something? The family of the victim, have you spoken to any of them?
On the phone, yes. They're... Yeah, go ahead.
Are they combative? Are they resisting your communication?
They're resisting, but... They have substantial funds behind them. But something's getting to them. Every time they push for something, they seem frightened, seem concerned, and pull back. To be honest, I think someone's getting to them.
Nice.
It's mostly by the fact that I'm taking this pro bono that they're even able to have me at all.
Hey, I have a suggestion. How about you cut to Elizabeth before hearing this?
Yeah. So we're gonna take a very quick break, and we're gonna cut to Elizabeth. That's it.
Where'd he go?
Talk to the real
He's gonna
Jen.
go visit Elizabeth.
duh.
To go personally talk to Elizabeth.
To Germany.
Germany.
He was just like, yeah, we're gonna talk to Elizabeth, and he just got up.
To be fair, he did say taking a small break.
We
Dude,
should have
Oh, we're
told
taking
him
this
Elizabeth
right now. Is our
wasn't
small
real.
break?
Yeah,
Dude,
small
can I
break.
come back in full Elizabeth costume?
Okay, I'm gonna go get food because I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like, Loki, you told him to cut to Elizabeth, but I'm not gonna do jack shit. Like,
I mean, at least you get to do something then. Welcome back.
Right. Elizabeth, you have finished your lectures for the day. As you are coming close to midday at this point, where are you eating lunch? Where do you eat lunch?
Homemade lunch in like the outside area of the university.
I have to know what the homemade lunch is. I'm sorry.
Okay. Wraps with like salmon and veggies in it.
Gotcha. Okay. You're out in the open of the university area. People walking past, students going in all directions. You do see, as you're out there eating, another figure sort of sits not too far from you, and opens up the most boring cheese and ham sandwich you have ever seen and begins to eat into it. It is Niles. Stephen Niles.
Right. The guy who was at the desk when Fear was there.
He's just sitting there, like, masticating on this really boring fucking sandwich. And no, Emil, masticating means chewing, not what you're thinking. I could see that in your face. Yeah.
Right, she's gonna look at him, think for like a second. Like there's obvious contemplation there as she looks to him and then to like down to her lunch, and then looks back at him. And then she takes up her wraps, stands up, and goes to sit across from him.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, so
Professor Weiss?
yes, surprised you still know my name, Niles.
I know everyone's name. That's what I'm good at. Niles, Professor Niles. He holds his hand out to you.
Right, she'll shake it and say, we've met before under peculiar circumstances.
Indeed, and they only continue to multiply.
Right, have you been up to much? I mean, there's been a lot of talking going on around university.
He puts down the boring ham and cheese sandwich and sort of goes, never ending. 2 new exhibits down in the, well, not exhibits, but artifacts gained in the archive. And someone tries to break in. Just my luck. Yeah. Well, of course, as curator, falls on my shoulders that someone tries to break into the system, and everything I've been doing gets questioned, and yes, not fun.
Did I, as a lecturer, know that there were I guess you could figure out that there are archives, but you wouldn't expect there to be like art pieces in there, right?
Yeah. So university archives would generally be open, generally be holding books and stuff that would be higher, that would maybe be lended out to the students and but at a harsher, consistent. It's very rare for a university to have archives that would be guarded and protected and that kind of thing. That's weird, and you've not heard of it in the university up until now.
Right, your job as curator. Don't you think it's weird that you have to protect archives or guard them or?
Not at all, my dear. No, no. Ullmanoch is a very specific location. We've got very important heritage pieces that can't be held anywhere else. I'm not going to trust those hooligans at the museum with those kinds of things. No, many folks think it is better to invest their time with us and their purchases with us.
Right. So there's a lot of art down there as well.
Oh, yes. Many fine pieces. In fact, I'm off to Kingstown today to review one of the possible pieces to enter into the archive later this evening.
I honestly did not know that was your job. That's actually fascinating. Especially, I mean, you have to understand as a fine arts lecturer here, been for a few years, it's interesting to all of a sudden hear about how much the university actually gives about art, you know?
Well, yes. Believe it or not, I used to work in New York. I was a curator of a museum there, but frankly, it wasn't exciting enough. If you know anything about living history, Ullmanoch is the place to be. And frankly, though it pays rather shit, this job is much more exciting and stimulating than any other I've been in.
I mean, between you and me, and she looks to the right and to the left to see if no one is listening. Obviously, no one is listening, but still, she does that. She leans a bit closer. She's like, between you and me, this whole city is way more interesting. I mean, obviously, I come from Germany, and there's just, there's something different here.
I think I understand what you mean. There's just something. And at this point of the day, there is a gap, and there has been a gap in the rain, and it's sort of like at that sort of point where the sun is there hidden behind the clouds, and as he looks around at the imposing Gothic university buildings around him, the very sort of distant sort of the air is sort of clean here, and there's a moment of silence between the students talking, and he goes, I think I quite like it here, actually.
She'll give like a bright smile and say like, you know what, same. Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned it. You're planning to head to Kingstown tonight. I was actually planning to head there as well tonight.
Oh, really?
It's kind of strange, but maybe we could.
You really mustn't trouble yourself.
Right, then you're, well, the perfect companion. We're both planning to head there. Might as well go there together.
He looks a bit sort of uncertain and sort of a little bit on guard now, and he sort of goes, "Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't be interested."
Hey, I'm an art lecturer, and I have been passionate about art my whole life. So, honestly, I don't think you can get I mean, it might be a brag, but I don't think you can get a better companion for this than me.
Right. Give me a convince check, please. You can use any checks here to do with art or like your ability to evaluate art.
Does my easy to be around count as well?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Ooh.
A 9.
Okay, that's interesting. Right. What status would you want to give him?
Um, uh, I'm trying to think of something that would. I guess something like friendly colleagues or something
Friendly
like that.
colleague?
Like,
Yeah, I'll allow that. Okay, yeah, you give him friendly colleagues. He sort of loses his appetite for the sandwich somewhat and closes the thing over it and puts it away and goes, I suppose, well, all right then. I'm about to go in a couple of minutes, so if you're ready, then shall we head? It's a long drive.
Right, exactly. Your car or mine? Or do we both drive separately?
Well, I've got the component space in the back of my car. Probably best to go by mine. But I mean, it's not that dirty. It's fine. I'm sure.
Well, how about you drive in front and I'll drive behind it?
Better. I'm quite an environmentalist. I think probably one car would be better than two. If that works with you.
Shit, why didn't I make Elizabeth's car electric?
Let's just take my car.
Sure. I'll just let my wife know,
Of
just
course,
if we have
of course.
traffic or something like that.
Of course, yes. And you say wife, and you see this sort of like he sort of goes a little bit sort of awkward. You're not quite sure why.
Right, and I head out with him, but I do text Allison to say heading off to the museum in Kingstown right now.
Okay.
But expect me home tonight for dinner.
You send the message after a minute. Yeah.
Add to that, heading to a museum in Kingstown with a colleague.
Go. Okay. You send that. A couple of seconds later, you get a message back. Okay. Have lots of fun. Send me some pictures. Yeah, love ya. And then there's just a picture of her, sort of with mask on, in like ready to go into work. Just sort of giving us a peace sign. She sends it. She's back.
That's cute. All right.
Cross town. Actually, Ned, what are you doing at this point? It's sort of now like coming into evening now. Quite. Have you done anything with your day?
I mean, yeah. I guess I'd want to have this interaction with both Ned and Tom. It seems pretty early to do this, but let's see if they could join the yacht club despite not having a yacht.
You can get yes. So you're gonna head down to the local yacht club.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly. Like, okay, I'm not really sure what a yacht club does. I just know it's rich people thing.
So generally, a yacht club is a place where rich people, they pay like a lot of money to be part of it, and you get access to the bar, you get access to the sailing thing, and they sort of like work. It's basically like a networking area. So if you're wealthy enough and stuff, they tend to let people in. You don't have to have a yacht. It's just sort of a place to network with people who have yachts, and then you sail around and, be.
So it's like golf.
It's a lot like golf. A lot like golf.
Okay. Well, Ned's been in the golf world.
Oh yeah.
I'd say Ned and Todd go in, see if they can get something.
Okay. You so there's the main yacht club that is the one that sort of is just called the Ullmanoch Gentlemen's Yacht Club. That's the one that's sitting right on the lake. Do you go to that one, or there's another one that's called the Old Boat Boys?
Well, first, I want
The Gentlemen's Yacht Club is much larger.
I want to see which one's closer to my house.
The Gentlemen's Yacht Club.
Okay. So there's 3, you said?
No, there's 2. There's the Gentlemen's Yacht Club and the Old Boat Boys.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll go to the Gentleman Yacht Club first.
Okay.
That's the one where what's it called? Well, actually, he didn't say which one it was, but there was a thing about like a hairy.
About a what? Sorry, that you broke up there.
About a hairy armed man.
Yes. Well, that was yeah.
They didn't specify which one.
Yeah. You head to the Gentlemen's Yacht Club and you get there, and it is the Ullmanoch Gentlemen's Yacht Club. It is like this. It's built right onto the side of the lake, and it's this massive, almost like resort, almost like a hotel to that point. Incredibly lavish. Very smart and dressed up. The concierge is sort of sitting behind the desk as you approach, and she sort of goes, "Hello, sir. How can I help you?"
Hello. We just moved in, and I.
Oh, you have.
Yeah, we wanted to know if we could join, the both of us.
Mr. Halford, is it? I did understand that you had moved in. We were expecting your visit quite soon. Yes, we've got one membership spot for you, if you're looking to. That's £2,000 a year, with expenses on top of. Would you like the pro membership?
Well, what does the pro give me that the other does not?
The Pro membership gives you access to the VIP lounge, as well as free access to the exclusive lounge on specific targeted days. And you see she sort of rattles off a number of other sort of like very... It sounds like you're not actually getting that much more for it. And she goes, and that we're offering for the very acceptable price of only £8,000 a year.
That's a lot of lounges for 6,000 extra pounds.
Well, to be honest, if you're here to network with the high and mighty of the city, then the exclusive lounge is by far the higher price and better price to go for.
I see. We don't actually have a yacht. Would this be a problem?
Mr. Halford, of course not. There's many yachts that you're free to rent and use, as well as many of our members take it upon themselves to include non-yachters upon their voyages.
Do we get a discount if both of us sign up right here, right now?
2 of you?
Visiting... Well, yes. This is my agent, Todd.
Todd sort of waves behind you, and she goes, "No discount, I'm afraid, but for the famous Mr. Halford, we might be able to arrange something in terms of several free boat rides, maybe some training with a professional skipper."
That sounds great. And then I whispered to Todd, I don't know what skipper is.
Wonderful. I'll sign you up for our yearly exclusive package, 2 bundles. That will be a down payment right now of £24,000 with a overall payment of £16,000 every year. Does that sound alright?
Yep, that sounds lovely.
Wonderful.
I give her the money, and then like maybe 4 seconds after I give her the money, I say, "Now that I'm your customer and you have no fear of competition, tell me about this old boats boys club thing that I hear about."
Oh. Well, dingy little club. Barely sort of a consistent opponent. To be honest, it's surprising the law even allows them to function. They're just a small collection of the rather less influential individuals of the lake area who have decided to band together to enjoy the fun of sailing rather than, the true meaning of it, which is networking.
Ah, the fools. Well, I must say, now that I've joined and I'm part of all these lounges, as you can see, can I get like a list of the members?
List of the members won't be possible, but I can put you in contact with a number of individuals who are buddies, so to put it, and they are welcome to integrate you into the club in whatever way they can. Networking is a part of what we offer, but we can't just give it straight to you, I'm afraid.
Ah, well, I see how it is. Thank you very much. I would very much love that information.
She starts to fill out, and she gives you a series of names for people that are members of this club. The first one you see is a man by the name of Gasper Lechon. The second one is a man by the name of Scabriel. And the final one is... Oh, no, not you. Oh, yeah.
What's the second name?
The second one is Scabriel. There's no further
Gabrielle.
name. Scabriel.
Oh my god. Okay, Scabriel, and what's the last one?
The last one is... Hamada Churro.
I'm out of euros.
Hamada Churro.
Okay. These are some funky names, but I'm Ned Halford. I can't be complained. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this information. One minor question I did have. A friend of mine really was inquiring. Do you know anything about someone who's, I believe they used to be a member of the Yacht Club. The name is Daniel Auberman?
No mention of him. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Is she lying? Investigate.
Do you want to give me a quick investigate? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Shamelessness. Would that work?
Fearlessness? Shamelessness?
Shamelessness. Yeah.
Not really. How?
I just straight up asked. It wasn't like
I'm not sure. I don't think that.
because I didn't go through the rigmarole.
Go shamelessness and what other ones?
Celebrity.
No, they're in an area where most of the clientele are celebrities. It's not gonna fly. This woman has dealt with like the rich and wealthy and powerful all the time.
Yeah,
she doesn't care. Yeah.
Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Can I have that? Because I got an improvement for my personality thing that I haven't filled out yet, and I wanted to just put it as lots of money. Can I do that? Just a power tag called lots of money.
I will allow it as a tag, but it's not going to be relevant here because everyone has lots of money here.
Okay.
But definitely allow it as a tag, yeah. Okay, give me the check, please.
Just shamelessness.
Okay, as you do that, remember that we're on that. I'm just aware of time now and how much time Syriinx has, so I'm going to jump across to. We're going to quickly do Syriinx's section and leave it with her one, and then we'll move back to the rest of the game.
Honestly, I was fine with doing that next session as well.
No. We'll do it. We'll do it now. It's a good one. Trust me. But yeah. So you get into Stephen Niles' car, and it is a bit of a mess. Sort of a bachelor's car. He hasn't really been keeping it too well maintained. He sort of moves like a couple of like cups and like things papers out of the way to let you get your seat. It's a sort of batty old looking car. And as he begins to drive down onto the motorway, out of the city, it's not too long. It's about 2 hour drive to get to Kingstown. You have to drive right through the city and out, and then out of the motorway, and then towards it. And as he's driving, he sort of looks to you and goes, "So, how are you enjoying university life then?"
Well, I have to say, I never thought I would be teaching students if you would have asked me a few years ago. But I kind of like it, being able to help
Right.
young ones become who they want to be. It's just something inspiring about it. Makes you feel like a good person,
Yes, well, that fades after a while, to be honest. And you have a wife, you said?
Yeah. I met her when I first came to Ullmanoch a few years ago. Yeah, lovely woman.
And then what?
Do you have anyone?
Well, I had a wife, but well, she died a while back. You keep going on, after these sorts of things.
If there's one thing that's maybe a wise lesson to have, indeed, is that even if someone close to you dies, doesn't mean that you have to give up, right?
No,
So
no.
you should. I'm sure she would be proud of you that you're still going on. Sorry, that's a downer on the whole conversation.
No, it's fine. We all do what we have to get by, and for the people we love, well, we'd do anything, wouldn't we? I don't believe she's gone, really. Sometimes I forget, and sometimes I feel like she's right there, within reach. Silly idea, but sometimes you forget.
Who is honestly to say what happens after they die? I mean,
Indeed.
we both don't know.
I have my theories. I think about it. I mean, you must be concerned about it yourself. When you love someone, you always are.
I guess that's maybe a stage we haven't reached yet, but it's nice to not think about those things, right? When you're together with someone.
Do you ever not think that you would wish this could last forever, though?
If all of this could last forever, then what is the meaning in all of it? Right?
Well, history.
I mean,
history lasts forever. Things we leave behind, they stay. They're a testament to what we are and who we are. Sometimes they're more beautiful than who we were in reality. The things we keep.
and, well, with both of us being interested in art, a lot of the things, you can see that the art that some people left behind paints a much nicer painting of who the person was than they perhaps were in reality.
Which
So,
is
yes.
a beautiful thing. To preserve just the goodness, right? Rather than all the dark stuff behind the canvas, I'd rather just have the good stuff if it was me.
But then would it really still be you? I mean,
He smiles, and the car drives on. It's a good couple of hours of driving. You talk more about relatively mundane stuff, the university and so on. By the time you reach Kingstown, it's getting into later evening. It's a pretty place, Kingstown, nestled in the countryside, overlooking the bay. Far off, you can see Ullmanoch on the other side of the bay, just sort of glimmering a little bit in the sunlight of the fading, sort of the sun coming down. The waters, as always, around Ullmanoch are tossing and churning, and various fishing boats are sailing out, their white sails visible as they glide over the tossing waves and further out and then back in again. You can see it has a church spire, a bit higher up from the rest of the town, though most of the town is built on a single road over the water. Niles drives into the town and through it. In the center of the town, there is as you drive past it, you see sort of buildings and shops along the sides, fish and chippies and sort of wool shops and this kind of thing. And right in the center of it, there is a plinth in which a statue used to sit, where now there is nothing. He drives past it, continues on, further up the road, and you drive outside of the town. He doesn't mention anything, but continues to drive outside of the town. It is now slowly growing darker. It is a good while before he dips down a very hidden lane, surrounded by trees, and up a long, sort of like deep. It's like the road is nothing more than dirt here. The car's sort of wobbling a little bit as it gets further up, and he reassures you it's not far. It's not far. You eventually pull up before a battered little house. Yeah.
While we're doing all that, he's like, it's not far. I take out my phone and I Google Maps the museum of Kingstown. Okay. There's no museum in Kingstown. You do see that you are just outside of Kingstown, disappearing into the countryside, though. But you can see that he's there. As you are Googling that, the car grinds to a stop. You are in front of a rather battered house, and there are several men standing outside in vans. Niles turns to you and goes, "I'll just be a moment." Opens the door, and he goes, "You're welcome to come with if you like." And he opens the door. I mean, you're gonna go check out some pieces possibly for the archives, right?
Yes.
I honestly, any chance to look at some new niche art pieces? Yeah, sure.
It's a remarkable piece. You'll be quite impressed. He opens the door and steps outside, and you can see the cars are arrayed, and they're a lot rougher folk than you'd take for art types. Their shaved scalps, tattoos along their throats and over their faces. One of them, standing a little bit forwards, has dyed the entire whites of his eyes black. And he stands apart from the rest of them, tattoos over his side of his neck and curling over his shaved scalp. He stands holding a very large case in front of him. Niles steps towards him and he goes, "Who is the girl?" He goes, "She's just a friend, a university friend." "Show it to me." The man opens up the box, revealing his head from a statue. It's a twisted, monstrous thing with snakes for hair that is twisting as it claws and tries to, and you can see from now, it is moving. The stone is moving, but none of the people around seem to notice as it tries to crawl and gasp. Niles looks at it and goes, "Ah, beautiful. How much?" The man goes, "We agreed on the price. That price is seeming less appealing to me now." Niles moves his hand into his jacket and pulls something out, and as he begins to, you watch as all of the people around him begin to draw pistols. As they start to draw pistols, he goes, "None of that, please." He clicks his fingers, and one by one, all of the people drawing pistols drop their pistols to the ground and stand confused. Very slowly, Niles draws up his pistol, Points it at the first man, pulls the trigger, that man drops. Points it at the second man, pulls the trigger, that man drops. And you hear the cracking shot echo as Niles points his pistol at one man after the other. The fear in their eyes frozen as they don't understand what they can do, as Niles takes down each man one after another. He steps forwards and goes to the man and goes, "We had a deal, and you're trying to take it from me." The man is frozen, his black eyes twitching in confusion and misunderstanding. He goes, "You tried to steal it from me." He steps behind the man and pulls the trigger, and his skull explodes as he drops onto the ground. Very casually, Niles drops the pistol to the ground and picks up the casing, and he goes, "Very well. Shall we head back?" And begins walking towards the car.
It is a lovely piece.
He opens the back of the car and slides in, closes the door, steps into the car and sits beside you, and he goes, "How do you know fear?"
What the sentence in the beginning cut off, but I heard fear.
"How do you know fear?"
I don't know him. I met him at university. But something tells me you know him more than I do.
Perhaps. Shall we go for a drive?
I think it may be best to get away from this place as soon as possible.
I don't know about that. And with that, Niles' hand curls around the key and turns on the engine. And that's where we're going to leave you guys there and jump back to across. We have a very short break as we jump back across the rest of the group.
Oh, damn.
Niles is bad guy confirmed.
Niles is great.
Grandpa,
I like
no.
Niles.
Grandpa, no!
Grandpa, yes.
He really did that.
Grandpa
Elizabeth is not
Slade.
terrified
Right?
now.
Girl boss
Yo,
moment.
Guru,
A
it's
girl boss
death.
moment.
I know it's
Guru,
that.
it's death.
I get it. But so? You're just not used to it? You're that, like, desensitized to it?
Hey, you don't know what happened to Elizabeth in the past. You
I
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's still a good question to ask. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just...
Hey, some things just leave scars. And I mean, honestly, if you have to choose between seeing people shot in the head or seeing people burn alive, there's a difference there. And some things are
Yeah.
more traumatic than the others. So...
One's quicker. One's quicker.
Yeah.
And you gotta know when to react like what, so...
Grandpa,
No, it's good survival
no.
instinct. Don't get me
Uh,
wrong. Like what you
Right.
did
Why
with
aren't
the
the Niles?
Grandpa Niles, no.
Grandpa Niles, yes.
I'm gonna keep
Ah.
my headphones on and like keep listening as long as I can, but I'll get ready and stuff like that because I don't have to talk
Right.
anymore.
I'm gonna get myself some wine.
I'm nauseous after that.
How am I supposed
Grandpa
to talk to
Nauseous
you?
after that.
Grandpa, I'm just right.
Get your head back in the game. We're talking to a solicitor, yeah?
I just said this to the rest, man. I'll keep my headphones on and keep listening for a bit, but I'm
Okay.
gonna like get ready and stuff like
That's
that.
all
So I'm
right.
not gonna
If you need to go. I brought that storyline slightly forward just so if you need to, you can. But yeah,
I'll leave at some point. I'm not gonna talk anymore, but I'll keep listening.
gotcha. No
Good
worries.
night.
Sleep well and keep job up. Good things.
I will.
Right. Okay. Right. I am uncertain of who to jump to. I'm going to jump right to Ned Halford quickly to finish his investigate role.
Very fair.
What were you looking for precisely, Ned? What's your question? Because that's the
does she-
13, which is a pretty great roll. So
Well, since it's a 13, I gotta rethink my question. Originally, it was just gonna be, is she lying? But
That's a
how
13 with a
important-
power of 1, which means you rolled 2 6s. Fucking hell, that's a die.
Yeah, I was not ready for that.
Jesus. Oof.
I was expecting a 3.
Yeah, ask a good
what I-
question.
Yeah, my question would be, how vital was Daniel Harriman to the structure of the yacht club?
Oh, to the structure of the yacht club?
Yeah, like, was he the guy that when he shows up, it's just like, hey, look at this guy?
Quite the opposite. You get the feeling that Daniel Harberman wasn't a part of this club. They know of him though, and you do see that the woman, after your mention of his name, she seems like a little on edge at that. Like, you get the feeling that that is a name that has been mentioned around here, but not in like, not a positive. It's like, he's been a subject of rumor, speculation, and he's probably important to the club in some way, but he's not a part of the club. If he was going to be a part of anything, he might have been a part of the other club, but he's not a part of this club.
I guess with the rest of my day, I'd like to visit the other club and see what they're about.
Okay. You go to visit the other club after leaving this club behind. It's a bit harder to find. It's a sort of it's a building still, but it kind of looks like a cottage that has just been added to and added to and added to until it's become a sprawling little building on the edge of the lake. It has various little pontoons coming off it, through which various yachts are sitting. And you can tell this is definitely a hive of the rich, but like, it's a different kind of rich. There is a passion for the sailing here that is definitely abundant from the offset. And as you get closer, you can see that there's sort of a little fishing boat out with some people out fishing there. And as you get closer to it, you can see there doesn't seem to be much of a secretary at all. There's two sort of members hanging around the desk who are just chatting as you get closer. One of whom, as you can see now, has extremely hairy forearms.
Can we say we stopped at home and Todd like went in there?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
was
definitely.
doing his own thing, and I'm here alone.
Definitely, yeah.
I go up and I just say, "Oh, hey, fellas, exactly who I was looking for. I just came from the other club. I don't know what your standing is on them, but I hope I can be a friend with everyone here."
A bunch of fucking posers, mate.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I would never be anything like that. What my point was is I wanted to ask them some questions about Daniel Arberman, but when I did, they got very mad at me. Not mad, just told me to go away. And I was wondering if you knew anything.
Well, why are you asking?
Well, a friend of mine has a friend that knew him. And so I want to check up, make sure he's okay. Since they said it was very hard for them to get a word from him.
The hairy four-armed guy sort of looks to the other guy and sort of leans forward and goes, "Very sorry, mate. Well, I know he's haven't seen him in a while. He's used to be part of the club. Don't know anything more than that. He's dealing with a bit of a law thing. If that's what you're interested in, you're part of the press or something like that. Sorry, can't give you any information."
I'm certainly no member of the press, but have you heard of what's it called? Have you heard of the team that's dealing with his legal thing?
No mention. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Give me a convince check.
Okay. All right. Yeah, convinced. Okay. Keeping up appearances.
Keeping up appearances. I'll allow it.
Showed up with the whole attitude of like, fuck those other guys, am I right?
Yeah, okay, I'll allow.
I think that's really it. Oh. Yes. Today is my session.
Right. There's a long sort of pause between them. And they sort of look to one another and they go, all I know, he's got a solicitor by the name of Will Elledge, but haven't spoken to him in ages. Sorry, mate. Don't anymore.
All right. Well, thanks. And if he shows up again, I'll be expecting a thank you.
All right.
And he just as he's leaving, turns one last time. Just between you and me, this yacht club seems a lot cooler. I'm only going to the other one for networking. I hope you understand this.
The guy sort of nods and smiles, goes, "You do what you do, mate."
Yeah. I go there, and I leave, and I guess I go back home, and Todd's in there doing agent stuff. But what I really want to do, with my last bit of the day left, which I don't really know how much time is in it, I want to check some stuff about the house. I want to inspect it.
Which house?
No, the house.
The house you're in?
We just moved into. Like, why the fuck do they have a secret room?
Oh,
Like,
you're just going to investigate the house? How are you figuring out this information? How are you getting this information?
Well, the way I'm imagining it, number one, I basically most of it it's about the secret room. I'm like, why the fuck do they have a secret room?
How are you finding out about that, though? I mean, are you Googling it? Are you like trying to? How?
Okay, I will. The way I would want to do it is I'll do like a quick Google search about the history of the house.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Give me checks relating to like gathering information online then.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
In reality, I'd also just want to go, because I'd imagine him just pulling the books off bookshelves and seeing which one's a lever, you know?
Okay, I'm going to say give me the investigate, just with anything relating to like gathering information type thing, and see where we go from there.
From a
this
DM
is
point
going
of
to
view,
be...
I get this different things. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It still makes sense overall. We'll just work it.
Okay. Okay. Can I say that in my pulling off of the bookshelves and stuff, I am every now and then just turning something to gold just to see what happens. So just interacting with the house like it's a new Rubik's Cube type thing.
I'll allow that, yeah. You're just turning things to gold, right? Yeah, I'll allow that.
Yeah, every now and then just to see what happens. And I would like to just read some of the papers, the tax file things you said in the secret room, to see if I can even understand.
Give me the investigation check and I'll tell you what's on those after.
Oh yeah, but the tax papers in the room, because it's money related, can I put my new tax fucking money?
No, different things.
Okay.
Different things. All right. Lots of money would give you lots of money, not let you know how money works. A lot of the time, people with lots of money actually don't quite know how their taxes and shit are working because it's with another component. Doesn't necessarily mean you know a lot. Yeah, give me the check. Where are we?
Investigate.
Oh, well, that's a miss.
Forget my address.
That's a miss. Okay. I'm going to say... I'm going to deny you something you want, which is information about the house. So, I'm going to say you spend a good majority of the time like searching up information on the house, trying to make a sense of it. You're like dividing the papers between categories of what you think makes sense, and searching through books and shit at the same time. However, halfway through the day, you realize some of your piles have gone missing, and you look and you see that the fire in your house has been lit. And it seems that Todd has used some of these papers because you've been destroying the house like crazy already. He didn't seem the need to, and he's used some of the papers just as a fire to start the fire in the house to fill the house with warmth. And you find your whole sort of spread of consciousness between the different papers has kind of all faded to nothing, which didn't really matter anyway because you weren't making sense of it. It was all a scrambling of numbers and names that just is beyond your current level of understanding. It's someone was embezzling money in some way, but you're not sure how, and you're not sure how they were doing it. You know it's slightly shady, but that's the most you could gain from it. But you aren't able to get any more than that, I'm afraid.
As long as I still understand something's up here.
There was something up in this house, definitely, but you're unable to understand even a fraction of what it was. Back to Nahia and Dante. As you are in the office of the solicitor, what are you guys doing?
Does Nahia have anything to say?
No, I think she's following Dante's lead, and by Dante's lead, it's she's just sitting there quietly because this is all new to her.
Yeah, that's true. Dante will look Elige in the face and say, I'll be completely honest with you. My interest here is complicated. But let's say that part of it is I made a promise, and I'd like to keep my word. And I'd like to see this thing through and find out who it was that wanted Amy Northwell dead and Daniel Haberman implicated.
I see.
Daniel's own freedom is not my first priority. I wouldn't lie to you if I said it was. But it would be bloody lovely to kick
Well,
him behind bars in the face.
You want to know my opinion?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the expression, to kill the snake, cut off the head?
You ever see one of them American Revolution era posters with a snake that says join or die, and the snake is cut up into lots of tiny pieces? It might be one of those. Head might not suffice.
In this case, I would disagree, but you might be right, but I'm hopeful. You said you know Anton Lynch. You said you know he's behind this. Well, I believe Anton Lynch is behind this. I believe that he's,
you know about that,
well, incredibly powerful businessman. From what I can tell, owns half of bloody Barrow Ridge. Rich and sadistic and completely above the law. I could show you lists upon lists of all of my cases about him that I've never brought forward because they've all been completely undermined before ever coming to court.
What do you mean sadistic?
I've had cases brought to me. People, good people who say a lot of things about Anton Lynch. And
You don't have to mince words.
I'm talking about hurting people.
What kind of people? Any
Well,
denominator with these people? Are they women?
no,
Are they
that's
men?
beyond me. It's erratic. It's kidnapping, it's extortion, manipulation, control. As for the people, my cases, I've never before come across someone whose cases extend beyond any class type or wealth area. He seems to target everyone. He's wealthy, though, and he throws it around.
He uses his power to get away with
I have one lead, though. Separate from Mr. Harberman.
I'm listening.
A woman. Edith Cole. She died recently, only she didn't. Legally, she died. But I have quite a lot of reason to believe that she's not actually dead. And I have reason to believe that she has a great deal of interest.
I'm sorry, you were cutting out like.
Oh, sorry. He said, a woman by the name of Edith Cole.
Yeah.
I've been studying her recently. Legally, she's considered dead. However, I have a number of sources that suggest she's not. What's more, she's heavy investment in the university and certain artifacts that are being held in the archive there. Now, I've tried to get access to that archive, tried to find out the details of what's going on in there, but frankly, they've been fruitless. I tried to get in contact with someone who was a bit of a, well, case breaker, but she was uninterested in talking to me.
So I reckon the recent police presence in the university was the work of whoever you contacted.
Well, no. I contacted someone to try and get me evidence, but never came through. I heard about the recent invasion, and sounds from my sources, whoever tried to do it was quite competent. Got very far indeed. Problem with the university is their doors. Thick steel, impenetrable. Unless you have person. I can put you in contact with my contact, but she's not responding to me, so.
I see. I wouldn't mind that, but rolling back a second, what do you know about Lynch's lackey, Gibbs?
Lynch's lackey Gibbs?
Ever worked cases against him before?
Never. Well, worked one or two. He's good. Very good. Beaten me every time. Not gonna deny it. Got a lot of resources behind him, and a lot of wealth, and a hell of a lot of charisma.
And a squad of bent coppers doesn't go amiss as well, does it?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but yes.
Fuck. We have a case on our hands, Mr. Elledge. Our different aims align at the moment. I'll help. How do you want to find Edith Cole?
Well, as far as I can tell, she is, well, as far as my sources say, she was living up in Barrow Ridge when she was alive. But with my current sources, who I'm not prepared to go into, she's living not too far from the university.
I see. I guess we best talk whoever you commissioned to get into the university, get some answers.
Well, who I tried to commission, who turned me down. The name's Maddie Neelan. Here's her number. He passes her across the table.
Thank you. Can you elaborate a bit more on exactly what you tried to get and what the connection to Miss Cole, so I don't approach and look like a fucking idiot?
Yes, well, I had reason to believe that Mr. Anton Lynch was purchasing certain art assets from the archive, being delivered them, and selling them onwards. All in illegal, below the books. But the specifics of the art that he was buying were all very strange, and how the university came into them also strange. I served in a case not too long ago where a family was arguing that but they were quite disturbing, quite strange. They were trying to bring a case against Anton Lynch that he had facilitated someone to enter into their home and destroy a piece of art and then take away what remained of that art and then sell it on.
You remember the names of people involved in that?
Yes, Donnelly, though they wouldn't speak to me personally.
Dante just very quickly just shoots a small look to Nahia and back to Elidge. He says, I see. So Anton Lynch is purchasing some off-the-books art. The university is storing it for him until he can either deliver it to the location or to whoever buys it from him.
From what I can tell, yes.
If there is indeed a buyer.
It seems to be that way. Either way, the university is definitely doing something,
Involved.
yeah,
Fuck.
off the books.
Edith Cole. All right then. Let's go talk to Maddie Nayland.
All right.
It's been...
If you find anything, I implore you to bring it to me. This man, this everything. You don't even need to look to Harberman to see the extent of the damage he's caused. It's...
You don't need to tell me about the damage he's caused.
I believe that legally I can beat him. And there's a real belief behind his eyes, you see, as he says this. He goes, I just need the proof.
I don't want to crush his soul here because, like, Dante could make a really good argument that he can't legally beat him, but I'm not going to. He just looks at Elidge and says, before I leave, why did you take Harberman's case pro bono?
There was one interview. I saw it. I mean, I'm a rugby fan, but I saw an interview with him and Amy. And if there's one thing I'm good at, is I'm a judge of character. He loved that girl. He adored her with every fiber of his being. I cannot believe that he killed her. I just can't.
Okay, I'm gonna do something. That's just to check what Will Elidge is. Dante's going to just, the cigarette that he's been twirling in his hands up until this moment, he's going to put it in his mouth. Look Elidge dead in the eyes. Inhale. And as it lights on its own, just take a puff. And look at his reaction.
You do that, and the smoke sort of wafts over, and he goes, sort of waves it out of the way and goes, you know you're not allowed to smoke in here. It's illegal in the UK.
I think we both established that law doesn't stand for much in Ullmanoch. Unless you really work hard for it.
Let's hope that... Let's hope we can change that. Very interesting conversation. Walter, was it?
Yeah.
Walter, Miranda, thank you
Melissa.
for your time. Melissa, sorry. Terrible with names. Very good.
I see his tricks. I see his fucking tricks. I like him. I like this guy so much. Yeah, Dante will take another puff and say, oh, one last thing. Who's the judge on Harberman's case?
Well, not a great one, to be honest. Woman who's been rather good at working against us for a while. She's called Young. Technically full name is Nellie Young, but she's...
Do you have any suspicion she might be in the pocket?
She's thrown out more of my cases than anyone else, so... I daren't hope, but there's always a chance.
So if we want to achieve anything, we have to cut the purse strings, is what I'm hearing.
Some things can't be ignored. We bring enough evidence. We bring enough proof. They can't ignore it. They can't.
I'll trust you on that. I'll see you around, Mr. Elledge.
You too, Walter.
And Nahia, of course, is going to follow Dante out. And she goes, have a wonderful day, Mr. Elledge.
I will. You too.
Do I need to roll investigate to see if he reacted at all to the cigarette thing? Do I?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he doesn't react at all. There's not even a twinkle in his eye. He just seems...
Oblivious.
Oblivious, completely oblivious.
I like him. Okay. When we get out of the office and walk a ways away, Dante will just say, alright, so Harberman was in Wickerhound. You weren't involved at that point, but Wickerhound was a sort of place for people like us. You understand? There were some normal punters there, here and there. So the question begs itself. If Harberman was there, is either he or was Amy like us? If either one or both were, then why is the law taking care of them? What about the Silver Thorns? What about the council? Why isn't Harberman arrested by them? What's going on? See my point?
I do see your point. Just a quick little backtrack. Where did you learn this?
Above?
It feels like yesterday none of us knew anything about Harberman.
Well, I didn't waste time, I guess. I just pick things up as I go.
I guess this is you nicely telling me to trust the process?
Well, I looked at the incident rates of Silver Thorns, or whatever they're called, appearing throughout the city. I tried to extrapolate their total numbers. I sort of failed. I know there's hundreds of them, but how many hundreds, I don't know. I do know that some of them, well, most of them operate in squads or whatever, and some of those squads are bent, meaning they don't answer to the council more than they have to, and they have private clientele.
Okay.
I also know that they carry weaponry and manacles that dampen up abilities and can harm us. So, if somebody like Anton Lynch has a pet squad of silver pricks on his payroll, he's pretty well guarded against frontal assault.
I think I can see what you're saying. And I'll, not to say it again, but we've got things to handle, and we're just going to have to go with what leads we find.
Yeah. Let's call Miss Nayland.
Let's call her.
And that is where we're going to end things tonight. So,
No!
as you call, as you are getting out your phone to call Maddie, typing in the number across town, Elizabeth Weiss is in a car with a man who has just stepped into it and snapped the doors shut. He has left his pistol behind, but there is the feeling now that he is a different person as he slides the briefcase into the back seat. He turns on the ignition in the car and looks over to you, Elizabeth. And his eyes now have this calm certainty of a man who has just played you for shit. As he turns on the ignition of the car, puts it into first, and drives away. And that's where we're going to end things tonight. So...
Okay, I'm gonna